What I'm saying is, we're talking about the greatest player who ever played the game, which I believe to be Michael Jordan.
To say he's not feared by players?
Not feared.
I don't know whether to believe that you believe what you're saying.
I do. Well, it's not crazy. It's not.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy, and you know better. You know better. You just view him differently. And throughout the years in covering the league, those are all the things that I've consistently heard. I'm talking fear factor.
In basketball, greatness is defined in countless ways. Statistics, championships, MVP awards, and cultural influence all play their part. Yet, there is one element that goes beyond numbers, a presence that separates legends from icons. That element is fear. Michael Jordan carried it like armor. His opponents often felt defeated before the game even began, not just because of his talent, but because of the aura surrounding him. LeBron James, despite his remarkable achievements, has not been consistently viewed through that same lens. This is not about diminishing LeBron's greatness. Instead, it's about recognizing why the conversation around true intimidation almost always circles back to Jordan. As Stephen A. Smith once pointed out, when LeBron faltered in the 2011 finals against the Dallas Mavericks, it was more than a stumble. It became a defining moment in his legacy. Narratives in sports are written in real time, and in that moment, LeBron was seen as a superstar who hesitated under pressure. Jordan never faced that type of finals collapse. Even in losses, he carried an aura that made rivals fear what he might do in the next game, the next play, or even the next second. LeBron's 2011 finals left an opening, a vulnerability, and once that image formed, it never truly faded.
We chronicle the deeds when they transpire. You know, when we looked at LeBron in 2011, when that happened, that's what we said at that particular moment in time.
Redemption in Miami, his historic title in Cleveland, and his dominance in Los Angeles all proved his ability to evolve after adversity. Yet, here lies the key difference. Michael Jordan never required seasons of public doubt to prove he could rise to the moment. By his very first finals, Jordan was already the storm, already demanding respect through sheer dominance. LeBron's story became one of resilience, of rebuilding an aura after it cracked. But when fear is missing at a defining moment, growth alone cannot erase that memory. Fear is not built later, it's established early. Jordan inspired dread. LeBron inspired awe.
5, 6, 8 years. At that moment, what you said, what I said, what we all said was accurate. And then he grew and showed his greatness.
Stephen A. Smith pushes further, noting that LeBron's 6 finals losses created questions Jordan never allowed. Jordan's story was simple: 6 finals, 6 victories, 6 finals MVPs. For LeBron, each defeat was more than a setback. To critics, they became evidence that his aura could be broken. Great players can lose without losing greatness, but aura is different. Jordan's perfect finals record kept his legend untouched, his myth intact. LeBron, though extraordinary, watched his myth chip away with every failure on the game's biggest stage. True intimidation requires untouchability, and LeBron never carried that same shield.
A guy that lost 6 championships has an opportunity in his career to eclipse Michael Jordan? Is that what you're saying?
When Stephen A. Smith says the gap between LeBron and Jordan is fear, he's pointing to the heart of the debate. Jordan didn't just win, he bent reality. Opponents lost before the ball was tipped because they knew what was coming. His intimidation wasn't only physical, it was deeply psychological. Jordan weaponized fear. Rivals second-guessed themselves. Coaches overthought strategies. Even teammates elevated, afraid to let him down. That grip on the mind is something even LeBron's greatest moments never fully created. Teams respected LeBron, they prepared for him, but they didn't quake the way they did when facing Jordan.
You didn't mess with MJ. You come at MJ like that. You didn't do stuff like that. People, and I'm not talking about Isaiah Stewart, I'm just talking about period in terms of opponents and how they come at.
Stephen A. Smith illustrates this bluntly with Michael Jordan. You didn't test him. You didn't shove him. You didn't poke the bear. Because you knew the bear would devour you. Jordan's fire was so intense that crossing the line carried immediate consequences. LeBron, by contrast, has been shoved, mocked, and challenged. He's been fouled hard and taunted openly. Why? Because opponents believed there was room to do so without instant punishment. That's the difference. Fear silences challengers before they act. Respect honors greatness, but still tempts defiance. Jordan demanded silence. LeBron, instead, invites a fight opponents believe they can win.
With LeBron, you believe you can take him. You believe he can be had, whether it's because of the teammates around him, the system he's playing in, people that, whatever skill set you bring to the table.
Stephen A. Smith notes that with LeBron, opponents often believe they can take him down, not because he lacks greatness, but because the circumstances around him feel beatable. Coaches, teammates, and systems create openings. That perception matters. Jordan never carried such vulnerability. Even when the Bulls weren't loaded, Jordan himself was the wall no one could climb. With LeBron, the belief lingers: contain his drive, limit his shooters, and you can win. That very belief prevents the aura of fear from reaching Jordan's level. Teams respected LeBron's power, but they never dreaded it as inevitable.
You just view him differently. And throughout the years, in covering the league, those are all the things that I've consistently heard. I'm talking fear factor.
Stephen A. Smith admits that after decades covering the NBA, he's never once heard the word fear attached to LeBron James. That, he argues, is the ultimate indictment. It doesn't come from stats or haters, it comes from insiders. Players admire LeBron, they respect his craft, and they acknowledge his dominance. But the whispers of dread, the quiet sense of doom before tip-off, were reserved for Michael Jordan. Without fear in your mythology, your legacy shifts. You're great, maybe the greatest statistically, but not the shadow that haunts opponents.
Fear factor. That's just not something that has ever been associated with him.
That shadow belonged to Michael Jordan. Stephen A. Smith states plainly. LeBron James has never been tied to the fear factor, a phrase synonymous with Jordan for over 30 years. That absence speaks volumes. Greatness can be measured in stats, but fear is intangible. You can't fake it. For LeBron, it never took hold. Teams prepared for him as a challenge, not as an inevitability. Even at his peak, winning multiple MVPs, he lacked Jordan's invisible hammer of intimidation. Jordan's presence changed behavior. LeBron's commanded respect. They are not the same.
Played against LeBron. I played against LeBron for 15
You
years.
fear what he can do. Listen, you fear what he can do to you on the basketball court because nobody could ever question the greatness.
To say he's not feared
Not
by
feared.
players,
Not feared.
I don't know whether to believe that you believe what you're saying.
I do.
Stephen A. Smith and J.J. Redick recall an infamous moment when LeBron James was shoved to the ground in Miami. A scene that wouldn't have happened to Michael Jordan. Not because Jordan was physically untouchable, but because mentally, players understood the cost. Pushing Jordan was a gamble with your season. With LeBron, opponents dared. That difference reveals everything. Fear stops you before you act. Confidence convinces you even giants can fall. Once LeBron was seen as someone who could be shoved, the image endured.
Well, it's not crazy. It's not.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy, and you know better. You know better.
Wait,
You better.
hold on.
J.J. Redick makes an important point. Players may fear what LeBron can do on the court, but they don't fear him personally.
If you're talking physical confrontation,
No, I'm not. Listen.
physical confrontation.
Listen. Well,
No one disputes LeBron James' greatness. His size, skill, and court vision are unmatched. Yet, the fear surrounding him has always been situational, tied to his abilities, not his presence. With Michael Jordan, it was complete and holistic. You feared his game, his will, his legend, his wrath. As Reich points out, LeBron is respected as a force, but Jordan was feared as a conqueror. That's why fear factor belongs to only one legacy.
what I'm saying is, we're talking about the greatest player who ever played the game, which I believe to be Michael Jordan.
Stephen A. Smith closes by contrasting eras. He spoke with legends, Isaiah Thomas, Julius, Dr. J. Irving, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, who all affirmed that the 1980s and 90s were a culture defined by fear. Stars respected one another, but certain names, Michael Jordan chief among them, were untouchable. That culture never extended to LeBron James. Today's NBA prizes respect, but intimidation is rare. Across generations, this is where Jordan's edge remains. He was the player who carried the culture of fear with him, on and off the court.